Hi, everybody. So today is Movie Monday, but this week I am catching up and doing my video on the movies I saw in the month of April instead of the video that the other participants will be doing. And so this is what I do every month, where I just talk about the films I've seen in the previous month, mostly at the theater, or the new releases, I guess, mostly that I see. And so let's talk about what I saw in the month of April. I did go on vacation, but I saw two movies while I was on vacation in DC. So the first movie that I saw in April was Your Name, and I actually ended up seeing it 4 times. You guys know I've said it a million times. I got the poster behind me, and I love I love Your Name. I just think it has this beautiful message. It's such a unique story. It's such a funny story at times. It's just got a little bit of everything, and I love the animation. I love the music. I love everything about it. I just think it's great. So for me, it was worth seeing 4 times, and I may go see it one more time before it leaves my theater this week. We'll see. Your Name. So if you haven't seen it, definitely, if it's still playing by you, go and see Your Name. It's just such a unique experience and the very best of movie making. And there's a spiritual component to the film that you really have to kind of think about. and it's a movie with layers of enjoyment and layers to think about. So there you go. So then I saw the Power Rangers movie again with my niece. She wanted to go for her birthday, and she loved it. She's like, this is like her favorite movie she's ever seen. And I really enjoy it too. I think it is pretty well written as far as the dialogue and creating these sort of characters. And I really liked seeing them get together, and I liked them as a group together. I thought it really worked, and I thought that they had a nice emotion to them. I thought there was a nice chemistry between them. But where it doesn't work as well is when it gets into superhero mode, with them fighting Goldar. That was not that interesting to me, and I really wish that they hadn't made it so PG-13. It's pretty violent. It has some humor I wasn't crazy about, with certain jokes, and it's definitely for teenagers, which is like, it's Power Rangers. It should be a little bit more kid-friendly, I feel like. And so that was a bit of a bummer, but I actually really enjoyed it. It does have the craziest product placement you'll ever see in any film. And so then I saw Born in China, and this is the latest Disney nature documentary, and this was just so adorable, so wonderful. They follow these 3 different animals through China for a whole year, and you have this bobcat, this monkey, and this panda. And the panda and her little panda cub is the most adorable thing you have ever seen in your life. And of course, they kind of go into sort of sticky sweet territory with this narration that some people don't like, but I kind of like that they sort of tell a story and they try to, draw you in with a certain degree of story. Sometimes they push it a little too far, but I enjoy it. It makes it less boring, I think. And it's just beautiful. The cinematography is amazing. And you just watch it and you think, how did they not die? How did they get these shots? Holy cow. There's a scene where certain animals are very hungry, and you just think, boy, if they had known that there were these humans close by, it might have been a scary situation. But I don't know, pretty impressive what they do in these Disney nature documentaries. It's not my favorite Disney nature documentary, but I certainly like it better than Monkey Kingdom from the previous year, that I thought went too far in staging things. Like in Monkey Kingdom, they have this whole like birthday party that's like left out with like a full cake and stuff, and then the monkeys like stumble upon it. It was a little much, I thought. So this feels a little bit less scripted, at least. And so it's really, really good. Then I saw Colossal, and this movie is a bit uneven. It goes into certain moments which go into sort of generic creepy stalker horror guy thing, but the rest of it is so creative, and it tries to say so much that I enjoyed it, and I thought the performances were good, particularly Anne Hathaway. I think it's very creative. It's about this woman who finds out that she has this connection to this monster, this kaija, I think they're called, in Korea, and it's just all about kind of it does have something to say about our interconnectivity. It has something to say about toxic masculinity and how these various men in her life want to kind of control her and want her to be obedient to them. All that stuff I liked. I liked Dan Stevens as her boyfriend. Jason Sudeikis, he's good, but I think the script kind of lets his character down in some of the ways it goes. And so it's not perfect, but I think overall it is enjoyable and worth a watch. Then I saw The Lost City of Z. This is a film that I gave a negative review reluctantly because I can see the effort that went into it and that they were really trying to do something epic and big and this explorer story and everything, a true story based on this guy. But the problem is that they didn't work quite enough on the script. I think it was so close, but I felt like everybody was talking like a robot and not a person. And that's really was the deal breaker for me, because you have all of these epic things happening, but I didn't have a character that I felt was sort of compelling to go through these events with. And I didn't feel like he almost never talked like an actual human. Like if it was always sort of speechifying and always kind of, and that was frustrating to me. And it just feels very uneven because you have like, they should have just focused on one part of his life, like one expedition, maybe the final expedition, but to focus on the 3 different expeditions and the war, it just was too much. And because I wasn't invested in the character, it didn't work. But it's beautifully filmed. You can tell that they really tried to give, good performances and good, and that they put a lot of effort into it. If only that script had just been a little bit better, then I think it would be great. But I couldn't, script is huge. The dialogue was just very clunky, I felt like. So that was a disappointment. And I got to see Clue in the theater, and that was a lot of fun. Very enjoyable film noir, detective kind of story in Clue. So that was fun. I love it when I get to see these classic movies in the theater. I saw an animated film called Spark, A Space Tale, and this is not a good movie. And the story is very boring, and the characters are very flat and generic, and it's just frustrating because I do feel like the animation is pretty good, and it's like if they just had a little bit more sort of guidance, I think about what we want as modern moviegoers. I don't know. I just feel like there's something about it that feels like this disconnect in a lot of these foreign CG animated films that just don't feel like they are designed for modern audiences. And so maybe they appeal a lot to people in China, but they're just missing the mark here for sure. You already had Rock Dog, which I think is better than this, but still you had Rock Dog, you had the Spark, you had Wildlife, and they're just, I don't know, they're just not working. So I feel like there's potential there, though, in the animation and in some of the storytelling, that if we could just modernize it and make it a little bit better scripts, then I think it would work. So I also got to see a little indie called My Entire High School Sinking into the Sea. This was sent to me on a screener. I loved this film. It is so creative and inventive. And it's sort of this weird sort of meshing of like a high school movie, like Perks of Being a Wallflower or something like that, or Clueless or whatever, Mean Girls. High school movie mixed in with like the Poseidon Adventure, or like a disaster movie. And you've got these 2 lead characters that are pretty unlikable. They get right to the edge of being unlikable, but I think that they pull it off. And it's very unpredictable. It's very weird. It's very different. It has a unique sort of hand-drawn, like not hand-drawn in the sense of 2D, but hand-drawn in the sense of it looks like someone actually sketched it out, kind of hand-drawn. Animation, it's really fun. I liked it a lot. It made me laugh quite a bit. It is a well-done script, so I enjoyed it. Then I saw The Circle. This movie was not good. I didn't review it on the channel, but I did write it up on my blog. It had a pretty good premise, I thought, but the character makes choices that just don't make sense. Like, she goes from being kind of against the circle to being like a complete sort of tool of the circle to being you know, at one point she commits a crime and you're like, why is she doing this? We haven't had any sort of justification of where she's going. I thought the dialogue was very clunky and it was just all over the place, and you had a character like John Boyega's character who would just like conveniently come in to explain things, and it also wasn't made that well. I felt like the editing was weird. The way that they staged shots was weird. I read the book, and there's certain changes they made that I think really hurt it. The book is kind of dopey and stupid, but I think it at least has some emotion, in particular with the characters of Mercer and Annie that they change in the movie that I thought made them a lot less compelling and interesting. So I don't know. It was just not good. And the Tom Hanks character, we're never given really motivation for what he's trying to accomplish. Is he a cult leader? Is he just trying to gain money? Because a lot of the stuff that he's doing doesn't really get money. So what's his motivation? What's he trying to do? I have no idea. So it was a mess. Yeah. Bummer. Okay, so then I saw, is that everything? Oh, I did get to finally saw Monster Trucks, and it's not awful. Like, people that are like, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen, I think that's over the top. It has sort of an old-fashioned sort of like a spirit of the 80s kind of quality to it, I think. But the problem is, and the creature design is really good, actually, very good. The problem is that after the initial setup, it becomes just a whole bunch of chases and races, and I got really bored after a while. It was a pretty good setup. I liked the vintage quality to it, but it just lost steam big time for me. But I also thought that the girl character was very oddly written. Like, she's just sort of fawning after this guy who's not interested in her at all. Yes, she's supposed to be a strong character. I don't know. That didn't work, and they both look so old. And in all high school movies, for the most part, they're older. They're usually in their 20s. But in this case, the weird part was you have this guy who looks very old. He looks like he's 30, but everybody else looks like they're 15, so it looks so weird. Like, usually they have the whole school look like they're 30, so it doesn't look as weird. But this, they didn't. It was just strange. But yeah, it's not an awful movie, but it's definitely not a great movie for sure. I couldn't give it fresh, that's for sure. So there you go. That's the movies that I saw in April. The Circle, Lost City of Z, Colossal, Born in China, Your Name, Power Rangers movie, Spark, Space Tale, Clue, Monster Trucks, and my entire high school sinking into the sea. So let me know what you thought of any of these movies. I will say, I think the worst movie I saw in April is Spark, Space Tale, with The Circle also as an dishonorable mention. The best movie I saw in April was Your Name, as far as and then I would say my entire high school sinking into the sea is the next one on the list. So yeah, let me know what you think of any of these. Put in the comments section, and thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye!